In Yellowstone, even in death, life continues. A carcass on the landscape is not the end of a story. It's the beginning for many. For bears, wolves, eagles, and even people waiting roadside with cameras, a carcass is a stage where wildness plays out in raw and unforgettable ways. Carcasses are always exciting. They always draw a crowd. Tourists and photographers will sit on them for hours, waiting, hoping, watching. And the animals know it too. For these two adolescent grizzlies, this deer carcass in the river was an unexpected treasure. Grizzlies spend most of their lives eating grass, roots, berries, moths, and grubs. But when they stumble onto meat, instinct takes over, and it is always too good to pass up. A single carcass can feed dozens of animals and often be fed on for days until there is nothing left but bones, and bring an entire valley to life. Nothing goes to waste. What is left even fertilizes the landscape. A true circle of life. In The Choice, we explore the big questions. Boundaries, survival, the future of wild places. But sometimes, it's the small moments that reveal the most. This is Behind the Wild, a closer look at the bears who've captured our hearts. In this episode, carcasses. To us, they're a spectacle. To wildlife, they're survival. When death feeds life, the wild reminds us, nothing is wasted. Welcome to Behind the Wild. This special mini episode comes from the same creators who brought you The Choice, a Red Pill Wilderness series. This is Behind the Wild. Blacktail Ponds in Yellowstone is known for carcasses. Each spring, snow and ice give way and animals break through, trapped in the mud. And the bears know it too. To a hungry bear fresh out of hibernation, these ponds are full of hope. An easy food source for a hungry bear, like this mother grizzly and her 2 yearling cubs. When we came upon them early last spring, they had eaten their fill and were now napping several hundred yards away. But we were in luck, as after they woke, they went back to eat again. When done, they began to walk to safety away from the crowds. But hunger is stubborn. And one cub turned back for more. Carcasses are reminders of the wild's harsh balance. In the rut, elk and bison clash with fury and pride. Most survive, but some don't. For one massive bull, defeat meant death, and food for everything else. We waited for hours on this fallen elk. Only the ravens came, until almost dark. Then, from the darkness, a giant grizzly emerged from the trees and charged to his prize. This spot was no stranger to death. The remains of an old carcass resting quietly behind the grizzly. He was the lucky one, the first to arrive. He fed into the night, long after the people had left. Even scavengers have a stake. Birds love carcasses, but they can only get to the soft bits like the eyes and cheeks until the bears break open the hides. Another great example of nature working in harmony. But carcasses aren't just meals. They're flashpoints. And sometimes the unexpected happens. We stumbled on this black bear earlier this year who had found a deer carcass behind Floating Island Lake. He was lying on the carcass but looked anxious. Because he wasn't alone. A grizzly mother and her yearling cubs circled for hours, often pushing closer, testing their limits. Normally, the story ends the same way. The grizzly wins. But not this time. The black bear stood firm. Guarding. Marking. Chasing. This was a very large black bear, likely a male. Even against two grizzlies, he refused to yield. But a carcass is too good of a find to give up on easily. This dance went on for hours. The grizzlies would wander off, but would return a short while later to try again. In an effort to establish dominance, the mother grizzly rubbed her back on a nearby tree, likely marking her territory. The cub, ever watching and learning, mimicked her. Similarly, the black bear kept returning to a tree that had been rubbed clear of bark, likely from him rubbing or scratching to leave his mark as well. The grizzlies were patient and seemed in no hurry to leave. Finally, having lost his patience, the black bear charged and chased the pair off. The sow admitted defeat and gave up. As big a find as this was, she likely decided that protecting her cub was a higher priority. A rare reversal. The black bear victorious. We had never seen a black bear stand up to a grizzly. Yellowstone always has a surprise hidden up her sleeve. Some carcasses are more than meals. They're arenas. This bison fell in the rut and became the center of a drama that lasted days. While not the first, a grizzly had found what remained and was fiercely guarding his treasure from a gray wolf. The wolf kept testing, seeing how close she could get. The carcass had been well picked over by this point, and there were bones and parts strewn about. The wolf even tried for these. The grizzly wasn't in the mood to share and kept chasing her off. But she wasn't alone. Soon, 3 more of her packmates arrived to provide support. The wolves harassed, distracted, stole scraps, working together like artists. Sneaking in to steal scraps, and carry them off where they could eat more safely. Suddenly, there was another new visitor crashing the party. A huge grizzly had come running in from the far-off tree line and wanted to stake his claim. The dance then began again. The grey wolf testing to see how close she could get. How willing was the grizzly to share? This time, he was, and let the wolf eat with him. It was easy to see why the grizzly had left this prize so willingly. The new visitor was at least twice his size. The smaller grizzly then took the easier approach of trying to poach some of the strewn parts being moved by the wolves, but was chased off by the black wolf as well. The wolves are skilled hunters and work together like a seasoned team of hunters. One of the grey wolves taunted the smaller bear to keep him distracted so the black wolf could eat in peace. It often looked like the wolves were just toying with the bears, staying close, not strong enough to push the bears off, but fast enough to stay clear and smart enough to know when to back off. And if things weren't already crazy enough, we had another party crasher. An even bigger grizzly had emerged from the tree line. Even a picked-over carcass is a true treasure to the predators. With this new arrival, the smaller grizzly took his cue and walked off to safety. The grizzly showed off its incredible strength, tossing around the heavy rib cage like it was nothing. For people, carcasses are spectacles. For the animals of Yellowstone, they are survival. When we watch, what story are we telling? Predators, thieves, or caretakers of the wild? In Yellowstone, nothing goes to waste. Every death feeds life. Every carcass we witness is proof that wildness isn't cruel. It's connected. The only real danger comes when humans tip the balance. Every story reminds us, wildness depends on both life and death. This is Behind the Wild.